Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to be creating patterns for you. And there are a couple of things I want to do when I'm setting this up. First of all, I'm going to be setting the artboards up to the size of the assignment, which is 6 by 6. Then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating a grid so I can be able to snap to grid and be able to control the size a bit easier in my pattern when I'm selecting it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to New, and what I've done is I previously set this up, but I'll read through it real quickly for you. Okay, I'm going to do Pattern so I can actually know what artboard I'm looking at. I'm going to do 2 of them because it'll give me the opportunity to experiment. I'm only going to be working really on 1, but I'm suggesting that you maybe do 2 or 3 or 4 so you can experiment and see what patterns you can come up with the figure ground assignment that we worked on. The other thing is that obviously it's going to be custom. The size of the artboard and what you're going to be printing this out at is going to be 6 by 6 inches. And I want it to be inches. I could always set it to points, but it's very hard to comprehend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to inches. Color mode, RGB, even though we're going to be printing on a CYMK printer. And then eventually, when this rasterizes for the printer, I want this to be at 150 ppi, pixels per inch. Everything else is pretty good. I'm going to say OK. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go to Preferences because we're working with squares. And I'm going to go to Preferences and I'm going to go to Guides and Grids. And what I want to do is I want to come to Grid. Okay, my blinds are going to be black. My style, I could do dots if I want. Let's do dots just so I change something. And I'm going to have a grid line every 1 inch. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to subdivide that 1 inch, that square, 1 inch square, into 4 equal pieces. I could, so that would give me 1/2 inch squares. If I wanted to, what I could do is I could do 8. That'd give me 1/4 inch squares, but I'm going to keep it at 4. I'm going to say OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to say Show Grid. Okay, so now what we have is, and you can't see them very well, so I may have to go back and change that again. This time I'm coming back to Preferences. Grids. I don't want dots. I want lines. And I want subsections 4. Let's see if we can see. Okay, we definitely can see that a lot better. Okay, so now at this point, what we're going to be doing is we're going to start setting up our grid. Well, I know I have the 2 artboards set up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Place. And I have to go and I have to find where I save those particular items. And I'm hoping they're going to be here. Okay, color swatches. Here's figure ground folder. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, I made that one. I'm going to go with the grayscale. I'm going to say Place. Now I have it here. And when I click on this, what you're going to see is it's going to get really, really big. And that's because of the size that I created it in Photoshop. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. This is going to constrain my proportions. And I have snapped to my first grid. I'm going to go Command plus so I can see this a little bit better. I can even do more. Command plus again. Okay, well, now what we need to do is I need to create a pattern. And if I would just hold down my Option key and Shift key, I could kind of slide these over. And this would be a fairly easy pattern to create, but I have these funny breaks in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of slide this over and do a reverse. Pull this in, hold down my Shift key so it's constrained. Okay, well now things are starting to meet up on edge to edge, which is pretty cool. Okay, now I'm actually getting some sort of a pattern here. I'm going to hold down my shift key, okay, and select both of these. I can group them, Command G. And now what we'll be doing is I'm going again holding down my Option key. You see I got the double-headed arrow. Move this down. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay, it seems to be meeting okay without too much of a jag in here. Okay, so we could go with that way. It's a possibility. Or what we could do is I can make it a reflection. And again, with my grid, it makes it very easy to make a reflection because I know exactly where I need to snap to, so it measures properly. I could come up here. Now we can hold the shift key down, so it constrains the move. Okay, and I'm going to have to, I want it to snap. Okay, so we could go that way. So now I have this particular configuration. So that's okay. I think I'm going to try. I'm just kind of curious what would happen if I would stay with the original one. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, what's nice about Illustrator is I have a number of undos. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to select all 4 of them. Again, hold down my Option key. And I'm doing some experimenting here. Okay. Well, that's okay. It does seem to match up here really, really nice. I wasn't expecting that. So I have a pattern going. Let's try it with me reflecting it. I'm going to grab these. And what I can do is, under here, I do have a reflection tool. This time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click. Hold on my Option key. Snap for me. There we go. Now it's snapped. Okay, well that's interesting. That might work. Let's bring down this row and see what I have. Okay, Command 0. Okay, so this is what I've set up now so far. It's okay. Select all, Command A. What if I make it half that size? So I could make it, holding down the shift key, I'm constraining it. Okay. Not keen about that. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Okay, well this is what I had previously. What if I do this? Okay, well this is, again, a little bit different design. I don't have such a concentration between the rows. Select it again. Okay, well this seems to be an adequate pattern. Maybe what I want to do, maybe this pattern, being this way, is it would not be quite as nice as I'm going to select all. And whoopsie, cancel, select all. And what if I rotate it? Hold down my shift key so it constrains. Command C. Rotate it. Kind of interesting. Okay, this is going that way. What if I take these rows, hold down my shift key, my shift and option key, excuse me. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I will just take and move it over. What if I do that? Well, that's kind of interesting. Okay, that gives me something interesting right here that's going on. Okay, rather than the same old, same old. Okay, obviously I left a couple behind. I gotta take and select all. At least select these, right? I stretch these funny. Okay, well that's kind of interesting. In fact, I think this is a better pattern than what I had by taking and having that change in the center. So what you can do is you can take, and you don't have to go all in the same direction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and how many do I have down here? I have 2. So what I can do is maybe do a reflection on these 2. I'm going to copy paste this time and just bring this down. Hoping it'll snap for me. Okay, so now this is what I have. I think I need these 2, and I'm going to hold down my shift key, my option key, move these into place. Grab these 2, option shift. Okay, so here's one of my patterns. Okay, maybe not the best, but I have a pattern, and I've demonstrated to you. Now what I want to do is make sure I save this, Command S, okay, and I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file, and then we will print it out and cut it down, paste it on a piece of Bristol, and paste it on mounting paper, and you should have your assignment complete. Save, okay. Okay, saving it. Okay, we're done. And thank you so much.